This topic is finding the area of a triangle. And a triangle is always going to be half of a parallelogram. No matter what type of triangle you draw, in this case it's a right triangle, I can double that triangle, rotate it around, and I can form a parallelogram. In this case, my parallelogram happens to be a special kind called a rectangle, but it's still a parallelogram. And the formula to find the area of a rectangle and a parallelogram is both base times height. And then to find the area, we need to find the base and the height, and we know they must be perpendicular to each other. So we're going to look for the dimensions that are perpendicular to each other, and that's 24 and 7. So 24 will be our base, 7 will be the height. Doesn't really matter which one's the base and the height. And we're going to multiply those together, and that will give us the area of the entire rectangle. We'll then cut that in half. So 24 times 7, and then we're going to divide that by 2 will give us the area. 24 times 7, 14 and 2 is 168. 168 divided by 2. And 2 goes into 8 4 times with no remainder. So our area is going to be 84 square feet. This is not a right triangle. This is an obtuse triangle because we have an obtuse angle right here. But we could duplicate this triangle and rotate it around, and it would look something like this. Over here it's going to be upside down, but it's going to end up being something like this over here. I didn't draw that perfectly. It might go a little bit higher over here, something like that. And this triangle right here is congruent to our first triangle, and you can see that we are forming a parallelogram. We need to find the base and the height of that parallelogram. They must be perpendicular. So that'll be the base, that'll be the height. 21 times 7 is the area of the parallelogram. We want the area of the triangle, so we need to divide that by 2. 147 is the parallelogram divided by 2. 2 goes into 7 3 times, and we do have a remainder, so we have 73 1/2 square yards. This is a little bit tricky because this is the triangle that we are interested in. The rest of what's drawn out here is simply to show us that this is going to be the base of the triangle and this is going to be the height of the triangle. So our base and our height, and the reason they did that is because the base and the height must be perpendicular. So they had to extend this to show you that this is the height perpendicular to the base. Well, it's a little bit harder to picture the duplication of this triangle, but it would be something like this. And its base would be, and height must be perpendicular, so its base would be 2, its height would still be 6. Of course, when you're doing this, you do not have to draw the duplication of the triangle. That's just for you to understand that you're always looking for the base and the height, 2 times 6. But with a triangle, it's half of a parallelogram. That's why we end up dividing it by 2. So 2 times 6 is 12. 12 divided by 2 is 6 square centimeters. Here's one more example where the height is on the exterior or the outside of the triangle. This is our triangle that we're trying to find the area of. And our base and our height must be perpendicular, so therefore they must be these 2 units, because those are the ones that are perpendicular right here. So the area is going to be 8 times 5 divided by 2, 40 divided by 2, which is 20 square yards.